Something's here.
You didn't think I was gonna let you two have all the fun, did you?
This is what you've been training for. This is a full combat situation. Are we clear, soldiers?
Hi, so this is Aurora Folks from the Nocturnal, and right now we are virtually sitting down with Ashely Nicole Williams of Motherland Fort Salem. How are you doing today?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Very, very good myself. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
So this is your first major role in a television series, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And talk to me about just what went through your mind when you first landed the role.
When I landed the role, I was so ecstatic. My journey to getting cast was kind of different than everyone else's. I know the casting process started 2 years ago, and I was initially in that casting process. And I was, pardon me, I tested for the role, but they ended up going with another choice. And then they shot the pilot, and then a year later, they ended up recasting me. So it was like a
Wow.
whole full circle thing. So yeah, I don't know. I was just so I was so excited because I truly knew in my heart when I read the script that this was like my role. So of course, when I didn't get it initially, I was like, oh, like I was bummed. Like I felt it in my soul. Like, what do you mean? No, but it was just so cool, and to know that like everything's for you will be for you, and no one can take that away from you. I think I was a true testament to that. So that was really cool.
That's amazing. So, and I'm glad that it all worked out in the end. As obviously, it's been a great show thus far. But
Thank
since you
you.
said you already felt like that role was yours and you felt like it was for you, what about the script initially drew you in? And what did you feel like you had to do to bring
I
it to life?
Yeah, so literally when I read the script, I ran to my mom and was like, "Mom, I have to be a part of this." I just thought it was so dope and kick-ass, and the women empowerment aspect and element of it, I was so down for.
Right.
And I was just so excited that, they had one of the three leads as a female African American woman. I
Mhm.
said female and woman, but you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
No, I was like, wow, like this is because there were some times where we couldn't be like on the front lines in a TV show or in a movie and things like that. So I don't know. I was so glad and just that doors were being pardon me, I don't know what's going on. But doors were open for us, I guess, and to take on that role and portray that, and be the Black woman superhero for another Black little girl, I thought
Right.
was just so important. And I'm glad I'm filling those shoes.
That's excellent. And it's great to see that representation on screen. But
Hmm.
also, what I saw on screen was a lot of intense army style training and hand to hand combat and a lot of work with a rope.
Yes.
What was the prep for like that? For what was the prep like?
Yes. So with the rope dart specifically, we trained for 3 weeks before we started filming. And my other castmates had already like had some training with that because they shot the initial pilot, and
Right.
I didn't. So I came in like hitting myself in the face, and they were just like, "Oh, you got it!" Like, and I'm like, "Girl, you're over here doing all this.
Exactly.
What do you mean I got it? Like, you've practiced." But
Right.
surprisingly, it was not easy to pick up, but it was doable. And the hand-to-hand combat and the fight scenes, we learn all that choreography. We do all of our own stunts.
Wow.
There are some wide shots where the stunt doubles do everything, but we're like in there doing it all. Like after episode 5, I had green bruises, I was banged up, like I felt like a real stunt woman. So we have an amazing stunt coordinator, Ernest Jackson, who just really helped us embody all that animalistic and warrior ninja, whatever you want to call it. So it was really cool.
Well, that's really cool. That is actually cool to do your own stunts and really just be hands on with.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
did have trainers that were on site who were helping you guys along the way.
Oh, yes, 1000%. Ernest was always there, no matter if like the stunt was too big, too small, even if we had to just like swing it over our head, he would like tell us like what looks natural, what doesn't. Yeah, and definitely when we had fight scenes, and because sometimes the choreography can just go out of your mind real quick and you end up like accidentally hitting someone. Don't know if that happened. Maybe you need to find out. No, but no, we definitely had all hands on deck, which was really cool.
Very cool, very cool. But seeing as there were some times where maybe things like didn't go exactly according to plan, like someone may have got smacked with a rope now and then, who knows? Was there any other part of filming that you felt like maybe challenging for you, or how did you overcome it if you did find it as a challenge?
Hmm, that's a really good question. I think it being my first lead role on a television series was very new to me, obviously. It's very fast paced, like very fast paced. So I had to get used to it. But once, you get in the groove, I feel like you're just like you're in it to stay. So I think it's just like finding that footing at the beginning of it, which was really cool. And I think a thing I learned is just like everyone's all in it together, like whether it's the sec deck or the grips or like, you know, everyone involved makes what you see on television. And I think that so many people just give props to the actors, but you have to think about like who made those sets, who made those costumes, who wrote the script. And I think everyone had a huge hand in it to make what you see now, and I couldn't be more grateful.
I see. Well, with all of that help, you look like a total badass on the show. Your character,
Thank you.
like, definitely, your character's like a very kick-ass, take no BS type of character in general.
Period.
Like, period. But throughout the series, or throughout the season rather, we do see her show some kind of vulnerability, especially
Mhm.
when it comes to her protecting one of her sisters or someone that she really cares about. So would you
Yep.
say her vulnerability and sense of sisterhood aided her throughout the series?
Um, I do think you do start to see that side towards the end. Not the end, but like the middle to end where we're going now. At the beginning, I think it's really just she I wouldn't say whoa, how many times can Ashley say she? She just cares about herself. But
Yeah.
I think that she's really focused on one goal, and that goal is not failing and making it to war college. And she has so much pressure on her that she can't see anyone but herself. And I think as the unit starts to become a unit, and she realizes that in order for herself to be a leader and get to where she wants to be, she has to include other people, then
Yeah.
that's where the caring about sisterhood and the vulnerability comes in. And yes.
Well, we definitely saw that sense of sisterhood between you and your castmates, Taylor Hickson, who plays Raelle, and Jessica Sutton, who plays Tally. What was it like working with these ladies in general?
It's literally just a slumber part. I say slumber party because sometimes we were there from crack of dawn until like the whip of night.
Oh my,
But literally like with your best friends every single day and night. We're truly like it's so cliche to say, but we're sisters. Um, I I've never I don't know. I hear so many horror stories about people not getting along with their castmates. So I was really hesitant going into it, especially because they already cast someone and already made this bond
hmm
with her. But going in there right off the bat, initial chemistry, initial like literally Jessica licked my face and Taylor licked my pants at the same time when I first met them. Like that's just you can't describe like a better relationship. Like I don't know. I just even Jessica being in South Africa, like we still like WhatsApp every day and
wow.
communicate. And Taylor's just in Vancouver. So like literally the week after we wrapped on set, we had to see each other. So we went to like San Francisco. I like flew from school after my week of school. I like flew to San Fran just to like see Taylor and
Oh,
say hi to her. So it's definitely like a deep bond and connection, which I'm very, very grateful for.
yeah, we can definitely see that chemistry on screen. So speaking of Rael and Tally, you guys all seem to come from like a different background before forming that sisterhood within the military. Can you describe what each sister brings to the Ultimate Witch Trio and the dynamic that you guys share?
Yes. So Rael is I'm gonna do like logistically and then like something that Jessica always says. Okay, so Rael is a fixer or a healer. So like if someone's hurt or has an illness, she can take it on, patch them up, whatever. Jessica is a seer and a knower. So you kind of got a glimpse of that last Wednesday, episode 7. But she knows things and she can see things, and we don't know how, but it's happening. And I can't like say too much because it'll give it away.
Right.
I'm the ultimate leader, and I'm going to be a blaster, which is kind of like Storm. I always describe it because we work with weather. So I'll be able to like blast you. I don't know. But yes, but Jessica always says that Abigail is the body, like a soldier, and then Rael is the mind, and then Tally is the heart, because she's just such a little goofy goof. But no, we call ourselves, I'm Storm, obviously. Taylor, Rael is Fury, and then Jessica is Shiny because she's just a little shiny Tally. Yes.
That's really cute. Well, you guys definitely all work together. You can all see that chemistry come to life on screen. But speaking of dynamics, I did want to talk about the one between Abigail and her mother, Petra. So is the kind of pressure that she puts on Abigail to be successful, would you say it's more like helpful or hurtful towards Abigail on her journey?
I think it's very hurtful, but also helpful. I think that helpful in a sense as Abigail is very determined and focused and driven.
Right.
I think hurtful in a sense of there's not really a mother-daughter bond in relationship.
Mhm.
Like so many times, like I'd clock it, and Kat, the actress who plays Petra, she always like pats me on the shoulder like real hard, and I'm like, Mom, like I'm like, I just want to hug, hug the girl. She's going through it, like, ow.
Right.
But it's like every conversation between them always ends with Abigail feeling insecure and not confident in herself. So I think that's where she's hindered in that relationship. I think the fight scene in episode 5, the mother-daughter fight scene, is where you see them actually come together and show that, okay, this mom actually cares about her daughter because she doesn't want her to die.
Right.
But like obviously, but no, I think that it goes both ways. But I think in a sense of even how Abigail came to Fort Salem and not caring about anyone else, it's harmful.
Right. There's definitely that aspect of tough love that we see that's kind of to the forefront of their relationship. But speaking of relationships, we always see Abigail's being dominant and very like self-assured when it comes to relationships,
Yes.
or intimacy rather. But that kind of seems to change with the introduction of the character Adil. So can you talk to us about Abigail? Because I did look on Twitter and I see that that's the hashtag going around right now.
Yes.
So cute. Can you talk to us though about their connection and what kind of role he plays in her journey?
Yeah. So I think he's a big challenger for her. So many people, men, I wouldn't say are submissive to her, but they listen to her, and he definitely challenges her opinions, and especially having to do with the military, because the military destroyed his home and things like that, and he's trying to bring light to her, like this isn't all fun and rainbows, like there's a cost. And I think you're going to you're going to see Abigail learn about that and have those wheels start turning. He comes in a great time because she just lost her cousin, right? And so she's very, very vulnerable, and you kind of see that little girl side of her that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
So instead of having this tough wall persona, like, oh yeah, I'm a badass, like all you boys, like now you too. She's like a little girl again, like, oh my gosh, I have a crush. Oh my gosh, like, does he like me? I don't know. I don't want him to leave.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because he's going through something traumatic during this time with his sister. So they both have each other to lean on,
Yeah.
and they're both going to learn a lot. I'm gonna leave it. I'm like, how do I wrap this into one period? Okay, there we
No,
go.
I got that. We can definitely see their relationship kind of brewing, or some kind of relationship between them, rather. So that's
Yeah.
really nice. But what I noticed about Motherland as a whole, they seem to do a really excellent job with showing a range of diversity within the show,
Mhm.
within like an almost all female cast of various backgrounds, which is really cool. And there's also the representation of the LGBTQ community, which I thought was also a
Yes.
nice aspect. But what has your experience been like being a part of this series, just personally for you, where they showcase this kind of inclusivity, and what does it mean to you?
I think it's so important to have representation for every single race, color, gender, background. I think, it's really, this show is really big for the LGBTQ background because, um, you know, we never see lead lesbian roles. And I think that's why we have such a really big LGBTQ audience, is because they feel seen and heard. And I think it's so important for every single type of person out there to have that. I even, like with me, I was like, wow, they have like a lead is a Black woman. Like that was just so big for me. And I feel like each and every one of us on the show has a role to, you just portray those different backgrounds. And we have a responsibility to do them justice. So I think inclusivity is so important, especially in today's age when they try to shut everyone up who is different from them. And anyone really. So I love that our show touches on that, because it just, it makes it 20 times different from the average show. And we're already so like broad, but that just puts us in a whole nother category. I think that's so important in today's world. That was a long narrative, but
No, but I'm
yes.
with you, and I actually agree, and that actually was going right into my next question. I was just going to say that I realized this show kind of like removes the stigma or the stereotype around what witches in Salem is, or how people perceived it. Like, I feel like people saw it more as like mischievous, or
Mhm.
witches are like hidden in plain sight. But this show instead, you guys are actually making a pact with the government where you're there to protect the country. So people are actually
Yep.
like looking towards you, or looking up to you rather. And I
Yep.
do think that it's different from like certain witch shows, like maybe Sabrina the Teenage Witch or like Charm. They're all like in their own kind of lane, but this one isn't a lane of its own, I would say. So, and I was asking actually, what ways do you feel like this show stands apart?
Yeah, I think in general, the women empowerment aspect,
Yeah.
for sure, because we do have an all female cast, and Elliot, our creator, and it's written by a man, our show, which is so
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
But he made it a point to bring in, female directors and have female crew and things like that. So we really touch on the diversity with the gender role. We also touch on, everyone's included in racially, like with your different background, and then the LGBTQ. But as you were saying with the witches, we're recreating the narrative of a witch, I think, and we're no longer demonizing it. It's not the typical witch with brooms and cauldrons and black cats, and
Yeah.
I know, yes, the hat, but we're reimagining the witch as the woman, I think. And I really think a big thing that we do in this show is we want women to be heard and know that they have a voice, and
Mhm.
that people can't shut them up. um, and I think that's kind of a reason why Elliot made our work, which is magic, our voices, because that's our power as women, and you can't take that away from us. So I feel like there are just so many aspects in our show that have nothing to do with anything else on the air, which makes it so unique.
Mhm.
And I'm really, really grateful to be a part of it.
That is actually really cool, that aspect of him using your power as singing songs or using your voice to really be powerful and be heard and make a difference. That is actually
Yeah.
really cool. And we saw especially the beginning of that, or touching up on that, in episode 7, which just premiered this past Wednesday. And I
Yeah.
feel like viewers are literally left on the edge of their seats because everyone is trying to see what's going to happen next between the uprising of the Spree and also the Fort Salem military. So without revealing too much, I know it's hard, without revealing too much, can you talk about what we might be able to expect from our favorite witch trio in this season?
Um, from the trio, I know I'm like thinking of like, what can I say? You definitely see, and you're already starting to see them actually genuinely care about one another.
Yeah.
I'd say by episode 10, your favorite rivals, Rael and Abigail, you will see, it's my favorite scene of the whole season. I keep saying this, and I see that these two have come so far and do love one another. I think, oh, there's so much I can't say. I'm trying so hard. But you'll see like the dynamics switch within the group. So I think you might, you know, Tally's holding on to the fact that she didn't tell Rael that Scylla is Spree. So if that comes out, you'll see that relationship tested, and maybe another one goes stronger, or we might break up, or we'll come together. You never know.
No.
But no, I just think it was so important to start us off at opposite ends of the spectrum so you can see how beautiful it is for us to grow together. And we're growing together through I don't know, it's quarantine brain.
Okay.
It's wild, but we're growing together through this crazy time of the Spree, and of mischief behind the scenes, and you'll see how shady things can affect our unit. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. So not too much, but we're getting there. We have a
You're
little.
getting a little bit of tea. A little bit.
So what would you personally like to see for your character go through this series, and what do you hope for your character moving into the possibility of a season 2?
Oh, so if I always say when, but I'm gonna say if we go into a season 2, I know a little bit about what's going to happen because I know how season 1 ends.
Right.
But I've always said that I want to see Abigail kind of break bad. Like maybe she's like, she's done with the military and like becomes Spree or something. I don't know. I just think I love playing bad characters, and it's just the way they think in their mind. Like Amalia, who plays Scylla, hands off to her because she's freaking killing it. And those roles are so fun to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think if that's not an option, I'd say just the growth in her and seeing what you're seeing now, but just she's completely made a shift. Like there's no going back to the pride, the ego, the queen bee. Like she can still be a leader, she can still be the HBIC, but she doesn't have to knock people down in her way. And yes.
Might go rogue. We'll see.
Yes, you never know.
We never know. All right. Well, that's good. We can keep the idea going, and we'll see what happens. But
Yes.
while the series is just beginning to take off, I know it's nearing to the end as well, but this still is a new series. What would you like the viewers to take away from it?
From the show? Hmm. I mean, I think I go back to the reason we did make the show to show people that they do have a voice no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the underlying theme of our show, is that no one can take away who you are, what you stand for, what you say.
Right.
I think from the show in itself, like the character standpoint and development, I don't know. Maybe like, oh my gosh, I don't know because there's so like I want to say some
Okay.
things. Okay, I get so close to saying spoilers, and it's so bad. Um, but I don't know. I truly hope they love our characters, and because we do this for them, right? We do this for you guys, and
Yeah.
we love, like, I love acting, but I love how my acting will maybe make someone feel,
Hmm.
so I just hope that they feel what we're trying to put out within our characters. That's why in the beginning of the season where people are like, oh, I don't like Abigail, I don't know about her, and I was like, just give her a second, just bear with her, hang in there, like give her some time.
Right.
Pardon me. I just hope that they feel what we're trying to put out there. And I really do hope that they get empowered from this show, because that's what it's all about, is just uplifting and empowering. That
Very.
was a whole spiral down of an
No,
answer. Like I wasn't spiraling up, it was spiraling
no,
down real
it
quick.
totally works. And I do get what you're saying about like people who initially had a thought when they first saw like maybe the first episode, they already felt like, oh, I know this
Mhm.
character and I know what I like and don't like. But then everyone changed and has like an arc,
Yep.
which is really cool. So you do have like a big growing fan base on Twitter and social media already. But speaking of things that I saw on Twitter, I
Yes.
saw that you recently made a montage of like all your favorite hairstyles that you had recently.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, it's quarantine. Like we got to do what we got to do. Sometimes you get bored. It's fine. But
Yes.
what have you been doing yourself to just keep yourself entertained throughout this
Um, I mean, I made that on TikTok, so TikTok has been a very big source of entertainment for me. But I have been spending a lot of time with my mom and dad. I'm at home in Texas right now, and my dogs.
time? Oh,
So, but I'm also like, I'm still in school.
yeah.
So this is my last semester of my senior year at Baylor University. So I'm getting, yes, I'm getting my bachelor's. I
Yes.
actually finished school yesterday, but so between like hanging out with my family and like doing school, that's
Yeah.
basically what I've been doing. But if I'm not doing that, I'm watching Netflix, with no pants on, eating. This is the first time that I've like dressed up and actually had pants on right now. So it's okay. Like I won't stand up and you won't see my undies because I have pants on. No, but it's such weird times,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to stay busy and keep my brain stimulated, and I love that we're doing this interview because I haven't had any like human interaction outside of my parents and like
know.
my friends. And I'm getting tired of my phone at this point. Like I'm just like, I wanted too much. But
I know. We're gonna have to detox
that's how
all over. Yeah.
I know. I'm literally gonna throw my phone away when it's done, and always just like be outside of the house. Never want to go inside again.
I know. I don't think anyone's gonna be home for a little while after this is done. Outside.
I know. Yes.
Speaking of throwing things, given that this show that you're on consists of throwing spells and magic and using your voice for that as well, if there's any kind of spell that you could cast right now, what would that be?
For all of this coronavirus to go away.
Absolutely.
Like,
with you.
like that's it. That's the tweet. Like,
Right.
it needs to be gone. I wish that Rael's power of healing and fixing, like we could just touch the world and heal and fix the world.
Yes.
That's how I'm feeling right now because man, it's not even just like how I'm feeling inside the house, it's what it's doing to people who actually have the virus too.
Yeah.
And so many people can't be with their loved ones when the time is running out for them. And I just think it's so tragic what's going on, and it needs to end today.
Yes, like yesterday. Like
Yes, like yesterday.
Well, we're gonna keep our heads held high, and I just thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Oh, thank you for talking with me.
Thank you so much.